In a previous video, we talked about how you get hours and how payroll reporting works, as well as invoicing. But another piece to that is the project module, because that plugs into the invoicing as well. So your projects are going to end up on this main admin dashboard if you click the bill button, or you can add a day here and you can enter in a project, the name here as well. But if you want to actually manage projects and see different tasks that you have and statuses, this is where you would go to do that. So this is our project page. And now this is my test page. So I have a whole bunch of different items on here. But you can add sections if you want to organize this better. And everything on this page is drag and drop. And so if you close the arrows open, it will close and open the sections. You've got a copy button here, which will take this and paste it right into Excel. So you can work offline if needed. You can filter by owner. You can select your private projects only. You can sort by due date, sort by days remaining. And then there is an audit log on here. The audit log is really handy because there can be a lot of times where you're curious as to how a project got deleted or who updated hours, and this is where you would go to find that information. So going back up here to the top, I'm going to actually add a project. So if I click on the module button here and I say, let's say, we'll just call this name of new project, then what we've got here is our description and the ability to add notes. So notes I really like because it functions like a comment section does, where you can put in a date here and note about an update, and you can keep adding them, and you can move this as needed here to resize. And then as you save, you can keep going back in. Anyone who is assigned as an owner or a user here can go back in and edit these notes and add to it. So owners and assigned team, these would be the owners of the project. So you can select one, multiple. You can choose the different statuses here you want to get started with. Maybe we would do not started since it's a new project. You can pick your start date and end date, and then hours logged would be how many hours you've spent so far. If it's not started, this might be 0, so you could just leave it blank. And then you can choose your visibility, public or private. If you choose private, make sure you pay attention to who's assigned up here, because if you choose private for this person only, but you assign an owner up here, it will show to both of them, because you can't be an owner on a project and not have visibility. So just make sure you're watching that for how that adds up. So if I save that project here and it has an owner, but it's a public project, here it is here. Actually, it is still going to be locked because I didn't choose an employee. My mistake here. So if I wanted to go back in here, I would be able to change this back to public if I wanted to, but private is going to show it to just me as the creator. So keep that in mind. Private is the creator and the user selected. So I can change it back to public and hit save. And now if I go over here to the color icon, I can change these colors of the rows here. If I wanted to have a color-coded theme, I can move these projects around, and edit here is in the pencil. That's where I went back in to make changes. So again, you can add comments to it, save it. This icon here is the bill function. So in this particular project here, there are 0 hours. So if I click bill, it's going to say no new hours to bill. If you see a checkbox here, that's because a project has already been billed at some point. So if you bill a project one time and you're done, then the checkbox means you're done. If you continually bill, it's going to bill the delta between the previous hours and today's hours. So like this item here has 7 hours. Let's click the button. It's going to say bill 7 hours for new. So let's hit yes and okay. And here, if you were to add an hour to this now, next time you click bill, it's only going to bill for 1 hour so that you're not repetitively billing for the same hours over and over. So if I go back to admin here, I can find my new project, which is right here. And you can go back in here, click the pencil, and edit whatever you wish. And then I am going to click on generate invoice. Actually, let's get rid of these. So generate invoice, and then I can type in my rate here. Let's just say 50, and then download the invoice. And you've got your invoice here. So I'm going to close this and close this modal. So now if I go back here, like I said, I've got my project here. One thing to pay attention to is that projects through the project module do not split into regular and overtime hours. It's like a whole separate process. So projects are billed by hours from the project page, if that makes sense. So if I go back over here, I've got all of my projects trying to think if there's anything else I'd like to call out here. You've got your statuses, you've got your start, your due date, your days remaining. This is based on the main project due date. If you go in here to your tasks, you will see you've got separate due dates, and those are for the actual individual tasks. So if I wanted to add a task here, you can choose the owner. You can change this. If I mark something complete, it's going to change our progress bar out here. And let's say I wanted to add 2 hours. This is going to take about 2 hours. Due on the 10th. I can comment, and you do not have to hit save. It's automatically saving as you type. So you can see that updates have been made here and your progress bar has increased. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is what this looks like for the employee page. So if I bring the employee page over here, you'll notice that the employee project button is blinking, and the reason that is because a project has been added. So this signals to the employee that, hey, there's a new project. It's either a new public project or it's a new private project. And once they click on the button, it will stop blinking for them. But this is the employee view. It's the exact same as the admin. And when they log in for the day, they can see their list of projects that they have here. They've got the ones that have been marked private for them, any that they've created and made private to themselves, and then these are the public ones. And so again, functions exactly the same, so there's no need to go through any of this. And that concludes the project module.